Let's talk about a weapon. A weapon so terrifying that its recipe was guarded more closely than the emperor's own life. I'm talking about a liquid flame that you couldn't put out with water, a fire that was shot from the mouths of bronze monsters, and a weapon that saved an entire empire, not once, but twice. No, this isn't fantasy. This was Greek fire, and is one of history's most effective and, well, most mysterious superweapons.
I want you to just picture this for a second. It's the 7th century. You are on the deck of a Byzantine warship, a dramon, in the middle of the night. You can see the enemy fleet, and it is massive, confident, sailing right for your home, for Constantinople. But you've got a secret. On the front of your ship is a machine, and you are about to unleash absolute hell.
So what exactly was this stuff? Okay, technically, Greek fire was an incendiary weapon, but that is a huge understatement. This was some kind of chemical mixture that was shot out of a nozzle, would ignite on contact, and then stick to everything: ships, sails, sailors. But here's the legendary part, the thing that made it so terrifying. It burned on water. It literally turned the sea itself into a weapon against your enemies.
But with a weapon like this, the legends can get pretty wild. So how do we separate the myth from what actually happened? Well, we have to go back to the original sources, to the people who saw this unstoppable fire with their own 2 eyes, and, luckily for us, lived to write about it.
And our best guide on this journey is, of all people, a Byzantine princess named Anna Komnena. See, back in the 12th century, she wrote this incredibly detailed history of her father's reign, and in it, she left us one of the most vivid, you-are-there accounts of how Greek fire was actually used in the heat of battle.
And what Anna describes reveals something absolutely crucial. The Byzantines didn't just invent a weapon. They weaponized fear. They actually built these elaborate bronze and iron heads, lions, other terrifying beasts, and stuck them on the front of their ships. So when they attacked, it looked like mythological monsters were literally breathing fire all over the enemy fleet. I mean, can you imagine the sheer terror?
So yeah, this was clearly way more than just some dangerous liquid in a jar. It was a seriously sophisticated piece of technology. To really get how powerful it was, we have to look past the secret recipe and break down the entire machine that delivered it.
And this is the key. This is why you couldn't just capture a ship and steal the secret. Greek fire wasn't just a substance you could mix up. It was a complete, integrated weapons system. You had multiple, complex parts that all had to work together perfectly, and that made it incredibly difficult, if not impossible, for enemies to copy. Okay, let's break that system down. First, of course, you had the secret formula itself, which was most likely petroleum-based. That liquid was then heated up in a sealed bronze vessel to build up a ton of pressure. Then, a hand-operated pump, kind of like a giant bicycle pump, forced the superheated liquid out through a special nozzle, which was aimed by a trained operator. You see? Take away any one of those 4 pieces, and the whole thing is useless.
And when it all worked, the result was devastating. It shot out as a roaring jet of liquid flame, not just some lobbed projectile. It stuck to wood, it stuck to people. As we said, water was useless against it. And on top of all that, it created this thick, choking smoke that would have caused absolute chaos on a crowded ship deck. For naval warfare, it was the ultimate nightmare fuel.
Right, so a weapon this powerful doesn't just win battles. It literally changes the course of history. So let's take a look at the incredible impact Greek fire had on the very survival of the Byzantine Empire.
For centuries, Constantinople was the jewel of the known world, and pretty much everybody wanted it. It faced 2 enormous existential sieges by the Arab caliphates. And in both of those cases, the city was surrounded by these massive navies. We're talking historical accounts that mention hundreds, maybe even thousands of ships. By any sane logic, Constantinople should have fallen. But this is where Greek fire became the great equalizer. It was what military folks call a force multiplier. The Byzantine Navy was almost always outnumbered, sometimes badly, but this one single technological advantage allowed them to punch way, way above their weight. They didn't just push the enemy fleets back, they completely annihilated them, burning them right on the sea and securing the future of their empire for hundreds of years.
Which, of course, brings us to the biggest mystery of all. If this weapon was so good, if it was a genuine empire saver, where did it go? Why don't we have the formula today?
This is the question that has just fascinated historians for ages. I mean, how does an entire civilization manage to lose the blueprints to its most powerful weapon? Well, it turns out the answer is kind of ironic. It lies in the very secrecy that made it so powerful in the first place.
You have to understand, the formula for Greek fire was treated as a state secret on the level of nuclear codes today. It was reportedly only known to the emperor and one single family of engineers who passed it down through generations. Production was probably broken up into different steps, so no one worker ever knew the full process. So when Constantinople finally did fall in 1453, those few people who held the secret were likely killed, and the secret was lost forever.
And this is what's truly mind-blowing. We've got theories about the ingredients, crude oil, naphtha, sulfur, pine resin, stuff like that. But even with all our advanced modern chemistry, no one has been able to perfectly replicate the entire system, the formula, the pump, the nozzle, using only the materials and technology the Byzantines had. It's just a stunning testament to their lost genius.
The story of Greek fire is just this powerful reminder that history isn't just about what we've managed to remember, but also about the profound depths of what we've forgotten. And it leaves us with a really fascinating and kind of unsettling question to think about. What other incredible technologies have been lost to time?